Hey everyone, J-Ro here, back with another Final Fantasy 7 Ever Crisis video, and today I am bringing you a damage comparison video to find out which weapon would be the better sub weapon to use in physical Sephiroth Wind DPS build. Alright, before we get into the builds, if you could please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you can be notified when I post new videos. Alright, so we're going to answer the newest question that came up here as of the 1.5 year anniversary. Which weapon is better for Sephiroth when physical build? Is it going to be the Shinra Military Sword, or is it going to be the Blade of the Worthy? So let's go ahead and just jump into the builds, and then we'll discuss before we get into the battles. Alright, so for starters, both builds are going to be identical. Literally, they're identical. The only difference will be the sub weapon 1 slot and the second hand slot. They are literally the exact same weapons but swapped. So that way we can have Blade of Ruin on one build, and in the other build we will have the Shinra Military Sword. So since Shinra Military Sword came out first, we will start with Shinra Military Sword. Alright, but now the meta going forward for his win DPS, no matter what, if you do just so happen to pull on the banner to get the Cape of the Worthy, will be now the Cape of the Worthy, because Belt of the Worthy gives us 30% win ability damage, which is now his highest DPSing outfit for win. Both the Dark Harbinger and the Shinra form or uniform are win mastery, which only gives us 20%. So we get an additional 10% with this outfit going forward. Then also we get a little bit more boost attack for all allies here. So he gets a little 5% boost for attack here. Alright. So in the main hand we do have the Dark Heavens. My Dark Heavens is branded, that's why you see it is at 825%. Here's the brands that are on it. For his R abilities, it is physical attack and wind potency. Then in the second hand, we have our first weapon of choice here. We're going to be using the Shinra Military Sword, which, if you do not know what it does, for 3 ATB, it will increase our physical damage mid-tier, and when his HP is 50% or more, it will increase his wind damage to high for 35 seconds. This does supplies with the R abilities, physical attack, and wind potency. Alright. Next up, we are going to be using his Genji Blade. Genji Blade has the R ability of boost ability potency and interruption mastery, but also it does allow us to take his physical damage up another step past high to extra high, so 4-tier physical attack buff. Alright, for the sub equips, I do have the Blade of the Worthy in the sub slot here, which it will be in the second hand slot in the Blade of the Worthy build. It does give us the R abilities, boost attack all allies, and boost ability potency. Alright. For the next one, we have Enemy Launcher for attack and physical ability potency. And we have the Bahamut Cutter for physical attack all allies and physical ability potency. Alright. For the materia, I have my strongest physical attack materia. And these will be the exact same 3 on the other build. The limit break won't matter because of the simple fact we do not have a wind summon as of yet. But I'm pretty sure maybe Odin will become our wind summon soon. We are fighting him currently as a boss. It would be nice to get him as an actual summon. Alright. Before I get into the stat lines for both builds, we will go and take a look at who I am bringing, so that way we can have an idea of what other party our abilities are here. So I'm bringing Red 13 along. His outfit doesn't matter, it's just for buff debuff extension, but we are bringing the silver collar. This will give us our wind resist down. And we are also bringing our Brilliant Collar, which will give us wind damage up. Mid tier, so maximum it takes 2 casts. Alright. Then for his sub quips, we have the Rocket Lance, which is giving us attack all allies. And then we have 2 physical attack all ally weapons in the subs here to boost up Sephiroth's physical attack stat. Alright. Then on the other side here, we have Angeal. He's bringing us our physical attack up for all allies with his Steel Ward Integrity. And then also he's bringing the Great Sword A, which will give us physical defense down for all enemies, which also will help, of course, increase the damage. And then on our sub equips, we have the Blue Daffodil gloves for attack all allies. Then we have the Tranquility and the Bahamut Greatsword, both for physical attack all allies. Alright. Now let's go ahead and pop back over to Sephiroth and take a look at the R abilities. So the R abilities on both of these builds are going to be physical attack level 7, boost attack level 3, wind potency level 8, ability potency level 5, physical ability potency level 6, the interruption mastery, and the belt of the worthy. While all party R abilities are Sephiroth giving us physical attack all allies level 3, attack all allies level 4, Red 13 giving us physical attack all allies level 6 and attack all allies level 3, and Jill giving us physical attack all allies level 6, defense level 2, and then attack all allies level 3. Alright, so with all of this, both of these Sephiroths are going to have the exact same stat lines. So for purposes only, we only need to know the physical attack because we're damage testing. So the physical attack is 14,869. Alright. So before we jump in, let's go ahead and take a look at the Blade of the Worthy build, just so for quick reference. And as you can see, it is the exact same. Everything is the same minus the Shona Military Sword and it being swapped. So that means we're going to be doing 2 different versions of the battle, but we're going to have 2 different styles of how to use his wind DPS. So the way that we are going to conduct this test, we are going to start off by going in with our oldie but goodie, the Shona Military Sword, and we will do a progression battle. That will allow us to get a chance to see where the damage stacks, how it stacks up, and once Angeal and Red 13 provides the other buffs to see the maximum damage output that the Shinra Military Sword can produce. Then we will come back into it and go into the Blade of the Worthy build and do the exact same thing, a progression max damage challenge, where we get to see Blade of the Worthy along with its weakness exploit going in and allowing us to get the damage test there. And then finally, I just feel like because Blade of the Worthy does not have the wind damage buff as quickly as Sephiroth's Shinra Military will, we will go ahead and do a all-out max damage test with the Blade of the Worthy build to close out, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, so with that being said, let's go ahead and hop in and look at some damage numbers. Alright, for starters, let's start off doing Theatrical Strike, getting us our mid-tier physical attack buff and our high-tier wind damage up. Then go ahead and get a strike in, Gale Strike in, so we can see what the damage looks like. Looks like 363k. Now, once the command gauge is activated, we'll go ahead and do some more. Okay, 623k. Now we're going to push our physical attack up to extra high and get us a hit in. That's going to get us 715k. Now we're going to apply that wind resist down high. That will get us to 1.1 million. Let's see what happens when we add physical defense down to the mix. And as you can see, I had to recast the theatrical strike there. Alright. We're looking at 1.42 million. Nice. And now I'm going to use Red and Jill to maintain his buff going forward. Alright, 1.45 million. Alright, some pretty solid damage there for the combination, the original combination of his wind build here. But as you see, Angel and Red are here able to maintain his wind damage up and his physical attack buff up, meaning that theatrical strike kinda isn't needed here. Alright, so that'll conclude the test there. Alright, so that was our progressive damage testing for the Shinra Military Sword. My main takeaway is basically what I was saying in the end there, with the fact that Angel and Red 13 were maintaining the physical attack and the wind potency buff respectively. And so now that makes you wonder, what would happen if we don't have the Shinra Military Sword, replace it with the Blade of the Worthy, and we add an extra damage modifier in exploit weakness? Well, let's go ahead and find out right now. Alright, time to begin the progressive testing for the Blade of the Worthy. Starting off using Diving Scourge, so we can go ahead and get Witness Exploit going, just like we did with the Shinra Military Sword. Get a hit in with Gale Strike there, getting us 297k. Alright, once the command gauge is full, we're looking at 523k. Okay. Now that we have the extra high attack buff, we are doing 730k. Now let's add in our wind resist down. We have 1,008,000. Not bad. Alright, now we got our physical defense in. Now we're hitting for 1.45. Right where the Shinra Military was, but we don't have the wind buff, so we're adding that in now. And let's see. Oh, the physical attack fell off right at the last second there. We still hit for 1.41 million. Alright, now we got the physical attack buff in. Nope, weakness exploit fell off. Let's get it on. My goodness. So many slips. Can't be helped though. Alright. Let's see if we can get one good hit in before we end here. Alright, I'm noticing we only have 3-tier physical attack, so we don't have the 4-tier, but we're hitting for 1.86 million. Not bad at all. Alright, so that will conclude our progressive damage testing for the Blade of the Worthy. So my main takeaway from it, looking at kit to kit, Blade of the Worthy produced 523k on base kit, and then with the Shinra Military Sword we got 623k, which is pretty good. But that's saying that with the exploit weakness buff only, we still had room to grow. And that's why we see that at the end there, we shot up past that to we shot up to 1.86 million over the 1.45 million that the Shinra Military Sword could produce. Alright, so I feel as though I didn't do as much justice to the Blade of the Worthy there, because we did lose that 4-tier physical attack buff. So let's go in and see a run where I go completely all out off the rip, so that way we can get a good idea of what the real damage numbers are in a more practical sense. Alright, so let's start off using Diving Scourge, so we can go ahead and get that exploit weakness going, get our wind resist down, get our physical defense down, go ahead and get our wind damage up mid tier, get our physical attack up high tier, get our physical attack up to extra high tier, get our wind damage up. And that cast was before the command gauge was filled, so this one is max. 2 million damage at max with all buffs accounted for. Nice. And consistently hitting 2 million, and then you got Red and Angel maintaining all buffs and debuffs. For Sephiroth, the only thing he will have to recast is his exploit weakness, which does last for 60 seconds. So he gets a chance to literally exploit the weakness a lot longer. And as long as Angel and Red 13 maintain the buffs, his extra high physical attack and his 3-tier wind damage will stay up. And that's pretty good. Like, the damage is pretty astounding actually. Considering this is one of Sephiroth's, I think this is Sephiroth's second weapon in the game. And so this is pretty strong for a weapon this old. Alright, we're gonna finish it out here. It look like it's been a consistent 2 million all the way through. Alright, and there you have it. That will conclude our damage comparison for Sephiroth's Physical Wind builds. And my main takeaways from this, starting with the Shinra Military Sword. The pros of the Shinra Military Sword build allows Sephiroth to be a self-sustaining DPS, meaning that he can buff his own physical attack and the wind potency, while allowing the other 2 units on your team to be able to focus on other roles. But if you can afford the extra ATB, or some units have some extra room, or as we know now, units do more than one thing with a move. For instance, like Angel doing physical defense and raising physical attack, and Red 13 raising magic attack and wind potency damage, meaning that leaves the room for you to bring Sephiroth with exploit weakness from the Blade of the Worthy and allow you to increase the amount of damage that you are able to output at the end. Because we were able to hit from 1.45 million, which was my ceiling for the Shinra Military Sword, and with the Blade of the Worthy, we ended up being able to hit 2 million damage. So all in all, I think it was a great showing. So let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the damage testing, and which build do you think is the better build for Sephiroth at the end of the day. I'm interested to hear your suggestions down below. And with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.